what happened was the appraisals started going up. I'm seeing these appraisers at $1,000. But here's the thing. $1,200. The appraiser's getting $450 and the appraisal management company's getting the difference. What are they doing? They're doing nothing.
We are on. Welcome to We Fixed Real Estate. Brand new platform today. Rolling it out with Fred Glick, talking about the latest in real estate news. And today, Fred's got to do a little bit of bragging. He pulled a hat trick last week as far as listings.
Yeah, even though it's hockey playoff season and the Flyers did not survive the second round, let's just put it that way. Yeah, we had 3 of our listings sold last week. 2 of them...
3 listings in 1 week.
Yeah, 3 listings in 1 week. One of them's been around for a while and had price reductions, and it was kind of a crazy one that...
But it was a marquee property.
It's cool. It's a penthouse unit in downtown San Francisco with 2 outdoor patios, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. I mean, it's really nice place. But it took the seller wanted a number that was high, and usually I would not do those kind of listings. But you know what? This made sense. The market is crazy in San Francisco, as you probably have heard. If you listen to me all the time, you'll know that I judge San Francisco by how the condos sell down around the Embarcadero and that area. And this was one of them. And we said, look, let's throw it out there. Let's see what happens. If somebody's willing to pay a big number for it, because it's a unique property. There's other stuff down around the area, but nothing with outdoor space.
Yeah, it's not like there's tit for tat comps.
Yeah, exactly. So finally, we came down to a number that people started getting interested, and we were able to lock it down and sign a contract for that. So
awesome.
It took a little time, but the seller understood that, and he wasn't just, oh my God, I have to get this number, and there was just no way, and nobody was seeing it, and go on forever. But he said, let's get rid of this.
And this is for a flat fee of $15,750. So what was the seller's savings on this?
Well, the last list price, I'm not going to tell you what it sold for until it closes, was
ballpark
2.5. So it would have been, if somebody charged 3%, $75,000.
Wow.
So they saved a lot of money, $60,000, basically.
Wow.
So yeah, for what? I don't know. You know what the difference is between us? You pay a flat fee, you're paying me. And yes, I have people who work under me who aren't out there getting 70, 80, 90, 95% big commissions. That's what you're saving on. You're saving on these gigantic commissions that these people are getting paid.
And you're not skimping on the full service.
Oh, gosh,
you had a tea party. You didn't just do an open house, you had a tea party.
Yeah, there you go. No, and remember this, and other brokerage won't do this. Order the inspections and pay for them. Pay for a cleaning of the house. Make sure you get the correct photography and all of it, drones and 3Ds, because we want to make sure that the buyer sees a floor plan with the dimensions. I mean, it's so important. I work backwards from what a buyer wants to see to get the listing done. So it's a big difference. One of the other ones we sold was in Northridge, home of a very large earthquake years ago.
That's immediately what I thought of.
Knock on wood. Exactly. Everybody thinks about that, especially if you live in California and you've been here. Big single. Back then it was called a McMansion, when they called these things McMansions. Big 5-bedroom, big yard. And it was in this development of 4 houses, of which the other 3 had pools. So you don't need to spend the money on a pool unless your neighbors hate you. But if you make friends, you can, use one of their pools. So that was nice. And the third one sold in like 3 days, I think. It was literally right on the Pacific Ocean in Marina Del Rey. It was a condo, second floor, top floor, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And, again, that was around 2.5. Again, it's a savings, a monstrous savings. But really, Marina Del Rey is the secret place for living on the beach. Because if that was in Malibu,
Oh,
be
yeah.
7.5 million. Easy. Easy. If it was in Santa Monica, it'd be 5 million. Marina Del Rey, it's 2.5. Even in Venice, if it was in Venice, a couple blocks over, it would be another 500,000.
Huh.
It's location, location, location. Guess what? It's a nice, blank, gigantic beach with the Pacific Ocean.
Mhm.
Nobody's down there because there's nothing there. It's 5 blocks or so south of the Venice Pier. So it, it's a place to look, but they rarely come up also. And
Oh,
when they do, they pretty much get snagged. Um, but that's a place to keep an eye on if you want beachfront property. It's still 2.5 million is a ridiculous price, but if you want something at a quote unquote reasonable price, if you're in the millions, I mean, obviously it's not for everybody, but
third of
it's
the price of Malibu.
yeah. And the other place you keep going a little south is Playa del Rey.
Mm.
Jerry Buss had a house on Playa del Rey, and Jeannie took it over.
Mhm.
I don't think she lives there anymore, but it was significantly cheaper. And you're still getting the ocean. It's
Mhm.
right there. You can't change that. So, and especially if you like airplanes, you can live in Playa. But it becomes white noise after a while.
Mhm.
El Segundo, living near the airport and where the uh, oil refinery is a little different. I don't know
Mhm.
if they're refining oil there anyway, but they're taking oil in from the ships. I
Mhm.
know that. But anyway, so yeah, we got three done, um, all in the same week. So yeah,
And
beautiful
that's a
thing, as
hat
they would
trick?
say. That's a hat trick.
Explain it to non-hockey
When
fans.
one person scores 3 goals in one hockey game, it is called a hat trick.
Oh.
And the people in the stands throw their hats onto the ice to celebrate. And yes, you can actually get your hat back after the game, but most people realize they got to buy a new hat at that point. Um,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, and oh, for you hockey nerds out there, do you know what a natural hat trick is? A natural hat trick is the same person scoring 3 goals, 1, 2, 3 in a row.
Oh,
So that's pretty cool, as opposed to, a 7-0 shutout and you score the first and the third and the sixth.
yeah.
Yep, 1, 2, 3. Anyway, we get deeper into hockey, but we can start a completely different podcast.
So your listings are on fire right now, and tell
Yeah,
us
and
about the future. I think there's some little
yeah,
changes are in
we're
play.
we're making some changes. Couple of are real interesting. So we get people who are looking to list with us, and what they say and what other agents say to them to say is, "Oh, you need a local agent." And I've always asked the question, why? What I'm doing is marketing your house. So if somebody's local, but doesn't can't is taking phone pictures with their iPhone, that's not a good agent because that's not going to help attract people to get into the house. It used to be years ago, oh, yeah, the local agent knew exactly about the schools and where the best coffee shop is and how to commute and all these things that we can now find on the Google and the AI
Mhm.
that you don't need a real estate agent to tell you. So, but what we're going to do, because there's so many listings out there, so many houses, we're going to go and concentrate. We're going to take that off the table. Meaning, if you're going to list with us, we're only going to market in an area that's where we have someone. Okay. So to give you an example, we have someone who lives in Encinitas,
Mhm.
Mark. He's been on the program before. So we're going to push our advertising to there to get listings there.
Mhm.
Um, we have a person up in Seattle and Queen Anne. We have a person in Sacramento. We have someone in San Francisco. and the Marina del Rey, Venice area,
Mhm.
and out in Altadena, Monrovia. So kind of, we're going to hit these different spots. And so we're going to be able to be there. We're going to, be able to take care of things, lock boxes. People want to come to the house and have an agent take them through whatever you think a local agent is going to be able to do. You can count on us to do it.
Mhm.
So that's the big thing. Second thing is we are on Zillow Showcase. So your house will get Zillow Showcase. What does that mean? Couple of things. Zillow will, for the first 7 or 10 days, I'm not sure, will promote the listing more. It'll show up in the showings as the first item in a certain zip code, a certain price
Oh,
range for certain people looking for things. So that'll help. It's got better video, better photography. But here's the cool thing: it will send out an email to anyone looking for that particular type of property as a reverse directory type of thing.
okay.
So I have that in the Los Angeles MLS, where after I list the property, it'll show me the people who've put their buyers into there. And that's okay, but most buyers are in Redfin and Zillow, and we don't put them into the MLS because once you get a listing directly from the MLS, you'll see how terrible it looks. I mean, it's just the UI UX is just awful. They
Oh.
haven't changed it in 50 years. So the presentations by Zillow and Redfin are fabulous.
Mhm.
So that's what people want to look at. So that's why. Um, yeah, so those are kind of the couple of big things that we're going to do. And we're going to get rocking and find us eventually on Facebook. We're trying to straighten that out. Uh, Drew's
We could talk
nightmare.
about that for days.
Yes.
For one of
Yeah.
the largest companies in the world, the fact that they make it so difficult for a business to actually operate on it is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like, what if it's true. What if you're like, General Motors and you want to put ads on Facebook? It has to tie in with someone's personal Facebook account. How do we
No,
do that? I've
it's
turned this away and we don't know what it is, but it is what it is. Let's not bore everybody
let's
with
not bore
that.
it may okay, well, you know what isn't boring? Appraisal prices.
Oh man. Back in the day, and this wasn't that long ago. Okay. So let's go back before 2010. Um, the way for years you'd order appraisals as a mortgage banker, mortgage broker, whatever. You just, have 2 or 3 or 4 guys in the area and you just pick one and say, hey, Joe, do this appraisal. Or, hey, Mark, do
Mhm.
this appraisal. Everything's fine. I had 3 guys and they were all awesome and not a problem up until 2008 when our friends at Washington Mutual Savings Bank, and that's
Oh,
very important to remember Washington Mutual Savings Bank in New York. What they would do, they were the ones pushing the 1% mortgage. Everybody remember these things that actually caused the collapse in 2008? They were called option arms, advertised all over the place. You can get a 1% mortgage. It wasn't a 1% mortgage. It was what I call the wimpy mortgage. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. So you
mm.
kids go and Google who Wimpy was from Popeye, and then you'll understand this. So basically, what it was is a 1 month adjustable, the antithesis of the 30-year fixed. And every month it would adjust on the cost of funds index plus a margin over that. And that cost of funds index plus the margin, because the mortgage guy was ripping you off. He made more money with a higher margin and a no prepayment penalty. So he got you. He really
Mhm.
got you. And he probably charged you 3 points in addition to the 3 points he was making from the lender and just robbing people. And people weren't licensed to do this, and they're just able to originate loans. It was a freaking nightmare. So what would happen, the index plus margin was probably 7.5.
Mm.
But you were making payments based on 1%. Okay.
Oh,
So there
geez.
was a difference of 6.5%. And what they did was they took that and they just added it to your principal balance. So when that principal balance got 115% or sometimes 125% of your original mortgage amount, you then had to go up to the fully indexed payment, the 7.5 payment. So
Mm,
can you imagine paying $200 a month and all of a sudden somebody says you got to pay 1,500?
mm,
How did they not understand that this was going to collapse? Ben Bernanke and Alan Greenspan, two very smart guys, heads of the Fed, didn't realize this? I asked that question rhetorically and nobody can give me an answer. Why didn't anybody see this? I've been seeing clips on TikTok of this movie about the Big Short, and that's what it's all
uh-huh.
about. And Michael, oh, I can't remember the guy who figured it out, but he made so much money figuring this out. And everybody thought he was crazy. And he was, eh, anyway, you can go see this. All right, back to the
Daily.
appraisals. So
Yeah.
now we have Washington Mutual, and what these dudes were doing is calling up appraisers, basically saying, you better get me the value or you're not getting any more deals. They were threatening them with all this. I mean,
Mm,
there were slimy New York sales guys. I'm from Philly, so I hate New York, okay? Let's just get that out there. There was a slime boss. So after all the mishmash happened and we decided, oh, okay, appraisals were part of the problem. According to then Attorney General of the state of New York, who eventually became governor, Mr. Cuomo,
mm,
not Mario, his son, he was the commissioner or the attorney general of the state of New York. So he put this rule in, and he got everybody to do it nationwide. That the appraisal had to be ordered through a blind system, through what was called an appraisal management company. What did that company do? Basically, the appraisal management company got all the appraisers into a software, and then the lender would order an appraisal, and then they'd hit a button, and they couldn't request an appraiser. It would blindly go to an appraiser. So
mhm,
that's all this function was, and maybe they like reviewed it a little bit, and then it went back to the lender after it was done. They didn't do squat. Just so happens that that Cuomo's relative owned an appraisal management company. Shocking, okay? And but what happened was the appraisals started going up $25. So I would get a normal vanilla appraisal back in Philadelphia for $350
mhm,
tops. But now it went to 375. Well, now I'm seeing these appraisers at $1,000. But here's the thing, $1,200. The appraisers getting 450 and the appraisal management company's getting the difference. What are they doing? They're doing nothing. And you
mm,
can actually request them to break the fee down. So that's what I urge you to do. When you ask for the appraisal fee, you want to know how much the appraisal management company is getting paid and how much the appraiser's getting paid. You can scream and yell from the rooftop, but the lender has the gold, so they make the rules. There's nothing you can do. But my God, this is going to be a class action suit at some point.
mhm.
It's disgusting. We need to all scream and yell about it. It's going to be hard to change, but it's getting ridiculous, especially out in California. And they'll say, "Oh, liability and this," and they'll just make stuff up. The appraiser's doing the work. They should get the bulk of the money in this appraisal management system, which really hasn't changed. Software hasn't changed since 2010. It's still happening.
Hmm.
It's frustrating.
So you could just, I mean, because you can't pick your appraisal company, you can only pick your lender, and you're kind of stuck
Exactly.
with whatever they're doing.
Ex- Pretty much. Pretty much.
So is there a
So,
question people can ask as they're going towards different lenders? I mean, is this a
you
pre-question
know, it's
before you get the
fun.
loan?
What's fun because nobody will have the answer, but ask, hey, why am I paying an appraisal management company so much money?
Mm.
And when they tell you what the fee is for the appraisal, you say, I only want to pay the appraiser and not the appraisal management company. Just start a bunch of aggravation and just see what you can do. Make them nuts.
So if you're
Have
feeling like
every
stirring it up,
have
but
everybody.
what, I mean, what would the management company do?
I don't know.
I can't, I mean, they're not,
The lender
they're not
here's the
ensuring
thing.
custodianship of it or,
The appraiser does the appraisal, the underwriter at the lender underwrites the appraisal. So, what do you need the appraisal management company to do? It's a good question. Absolutely nothing. Oh, well, we check it for, validity of blah, blah, blah. You know what? I mean, come on. Throw
Mm,
things in AI right now. Is this value? Is this really the place? Are the
mhm,
comps correct? So, I mean, they're not helping anybody. Absolutely nobody. And
mm.
I welcome anyone who's from an appraisal management company to come on this podcast and tell me why they exist and why. Why do we need them?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And Michael
You know,
Burry is the guy's
Michael
name.
Burry, right? Yes.
And
Yes.
that's the one where Margot Robbie gives the excellent explanation of, mortgages.
Yeah. And also there's a Anthony Bourdain explanation of what happened. And that's a
Yeah.
great one too. Yeah. The Big Short. It's a great movie.
Yep.
Uh,
No, that's good. Took me a minute to remember that.
yes.
So appraisal prices, take a look at the line items there.
Yeah.
And then the other thing about it, you're going out for a lender. I mean, yeah, check all the boxes. What other things should people be aware of when they're looking at different lenders aside from just pure rates?
It's three things: the rate, the fees or points to get the rate or rebate, and then all the other lender fees. So they could say 6%, no points, and $400 fees. Or they could say, here, what we have is a list of rates. It goes from really high to really low. And then the prices are negatives to positives, meaning it's like a seesaw. Higher rates,
Mhm,
lower points, lower rates, higher points. Every lender has a variation of that. So there's not just one rate.
mhm,
So, but I had a discussion with someone yesterday, and they're going to borrow, let's say, a little over $1 million.
mhm,
And I said to them, when looking at this chart, what you want to do is get a rate that gives you a bit of a rebate from the lender, money back,
mhm,
because you're taking a higher rate that would cover their costs.
mm,
And realizing that sometime within the next couple of years, you're going to refinance that rate because at $1 million, you would refinance if the rate went down 3/8 of a point with no cost
mhm,
because it just makes economic sense at that point. It's like $250. I played with these numbers before. I think it was something like that.
mhm.
But save 250 doesn't cost you anything. So you're going to refi it. But some people like to pay all these points to get the lower payment. Maybe you have the seller pay some of them, or you need money towards your closing costs. You take a higher rate, and the lender gives you the money back towards closing costs. So
Mhm,
everybody's situation is going to be a little different, but the basic situation is take the little bit of rebate to pay the costs or as much of the cost as you can, and then knowing that you're going to refi at some point. I
and
mean,
also, I
rates
get to ask
rates
you.
are absolutely artificially high right now because from this war,
Mhm,
everything's spiked up because of oil prices and inflation. But what happens is rates go up fast, they don't come down fast.
mhm.
They take their time. So it's going to take a little time to come down. But I think everybody's like knows what this economy is going to be like with what's happening out there with oil prices. So, you know, it, price oil can't get any worse.
Buying down your rate, paying up front, you're making a long-term bet that rates aren't going down. Because if you thought rates are gonna drop pretty quickly over the next year, you'd be better off saving the money, paying the higher rate, and refinancing. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And take maybe a 7 or a 5 year arm as
Mhm,
opposed to 30-year fixed and do that with a little bit of rebate and wait and keep taking 5 year arms. I had a guy who used to every year refinance a new 1 year adjustable. They don't have 1 year adjustables anymore, but he would do a no cost 1 year adjustable and just have a really low rate every year. You know?
and the offset of getting the new mortgage every year just made
Exactly.
financial sense.
Exactly.
Hmm,
Exactly.
well, that
But you
is
got to pay title insurance and blah, blah, blah. And appraise.
and
Yeah.
appraisal
So,
management fees.
exactly. Exactly.
Well, that was
So
enlightening.
yeah, thanks. Everybody's going to be different is the bottom line. So reach out to mortgage professionals to discuss it.
How
Try
does
not to talk
Arriva's mortgage professionals handle it?
me and Jen. We do, we look at the numbers. We see
Uh-huh,
what makes sense.
uh-huh,
You just like we on our website, arriva.com/rates, you can check mortgage rates anytime you want, day or night. They're live. Some of the lenders close at a certain time in the evening, but you can get an idea what the rate
mhm,
was if you're there at midnight, what they were that day. Then things start again at 6:30 Pacific time, roughly. Well, it's when the market opens. I
mhm.
usually don't get rates until 8. Um,
And you can sign up for rate alerts and notice
yeah,
it to be emailed
yeah,
to
you
you.
can get them absolutely every day
Mhm,
for all that. Most lenders, you got to call and talk to loan officers, which is here's the thing. If you're going to buy a house and you call up 3 lenders, 4 lenders, and you ask them what's their rate, you have no idea if that's the correct rate. And they can't guarantee that rate. You can't lock it in. So they just
mhm.
make it up so they sound like the
Well,
cheapest.
it's about
Or they
fixing
give
how.
you a pre-approval at a really low rate. Well, that's the stupidest thing they can do because if rates go up, your pre-approval's worthless.
Mhm,
So, it's sales guys. Ugh, that's why we have them live. What's your rate? I don't know. Put your situation in and you get it live there in writing from a reliable source. This is coming directly from the lenders
mhm.
who we lock in rates with, not just making them up. So realize that when you're going in, and if the guy doesn't volunteer what all his fees are or what his lender fees are, that's another reason not to use them.
And
So
you brought up pre-approvals. Let's hammer it home one more time. Why get the fully underwritten pre-approval?
because you're going to have to go through it anyway. So go through it and then you can calm the seller down that they don't have to worry about your mortgage contingency. It's just there is no reason not to do it.
Mhm,
Okay. Someone want to give me a reason not to do it? The only reason I have found is that they're in some weird mortgage program and then nobody offers pre-approvals.
mm.
Okay. I've fully underwritten pre-approvals for them. That happens. There are some weird mortgage stuff, but vanilla, regular 30-year fixed stuff, even into jumbos, there's no excuse for you not getting it.
Or they're not
And this,
serious about buying a house.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
fooling themselves.
Exactly. Because you know what else? In a hot market, everybody's fully underwritten, pre approved. Or nobody else is. You're the only one, and your deal gets picked because you are.
Mhm.
We make sure you're fully underwritten pre approval for the mortgage, and we make sure you're pre approved or the house is pre approved to get insurance and what it's going
That's
to
another big
cost.
one.
That's another big one that nobody's paying
California.
attention to. Yeah. Especially in California and Washington, we're seeing it too. So insurance companies are getting tough there.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother discussion. We can bring Michael back.
Yes, with the FAIR plan, or I think that's what he was with.
Yeah, Fair Plan and the other
Mhm,
stuff that he does. Yeah. If you haven't
mhm.
heard that podcast, look it up, go down the
Put the
channels.
link in the show notes.
Exactly. For insurance.
Well, I think we've tackled a lot today, from listings to appraisals to educating us on the hockey hat trick. Uh, Suffice to say, this has been the latest episode of We Fixed Real Estate.
Good night and good hockey.